A man's heartbreak, you can't even fathom the heartbreak of a man when he loves a woman and she breaks his heart.
Give me my computer.
Susanna, can you please...
Give me my computer.
Susanna, can you...
Why you take my computer?
Susanna, I need to use it.
Give me the computer. It's mine. It's not you.
The provinces are now warning people. Came here for this. The way I chuckled. Better them than us. I don't know why they keep thinking they will be treated better. Not the province, plus he looked like a biracial Dusty. We told y'all, but you thought we were jealous. What does his race have to do with anything, finally? And someone replies, everything. So many sisters try to tell y'all, but y'all think we hating. Okay, y'all can have them all. We tried to warn y'all. Send this to Cynthia G.
A big thing I see with Black men is not recognizing when they're being treated poorly, like only for what they can provide tangibly. And then, not generally, but there are a lot of internalized beliefs for Black women about what they deserve that might be holding them back, the lack of recognition. But the thing with difference with most of the Black men and Black women I've seen is we're more so allowed to show our emotions. We've had more time to think that it's healthy to process our emotions. But Black men, it's not that. Like, they're not allowed to have emotions, discuss them most of the time from childhood. So it's really difficult for them to even acknowledge that the emotions are present. And then to build a relationship with someone, and you have to have some aspect of vulnerability and transparency. It's like you're being asked to do something that's never been considered healthy or okay. For like Black men, it's like, okay, so I'm an adult now and you want me to share my emotions. But as like a Black man, I've never been told that that's okay. So I'm just supposed to know how to do it. It's like walking into intermediate French and then being surprised, like, what you mean you don't speak French?
As Black men, we are all well aware of the tightrope we have to walk, especially in situations where emotions get elevated. In this particular situation, the gentleman wants to see something in a laptop. Some people suggesting that she might be hiding something in there, and she's crying, and he's very calm. But that has nothing to do with the way that people responded to it, because many people saw a Black man and a crying non-Black woman, and you saw the kind of response that it got, that he must have done something wrong. The number of times I saw DV, and just the idea that her crying alone just is proof that Black men ain't ish. And in that environment, Black men are supposed to open up and show their feelings and be in touch with their emotions and be emotionally intelligent? Ha! No. If you open up emotionally, it is ammunition for the downfall when she leaves and she wants to hurt you the most. And in this environment, saying that a Western woman with feminist values is going to come into most Black men's lives and enrich it, that is a very hard sell. But Anna did her best to do that.
Pearl, the main thing I want people to understand, okay, Pearl's gonna trash women no matter what. That's fine.
I'm not trashing
But
them.
my biggest gripe with you is you're discouraging people from entering marriages.
I don't tell men what to do. Sell me on...
You
okay,
advise
Anna,
men to avoid marriage.
Sell me on marriage. What do men get out of marriage?
I know that Pearl is always going to generate a certain kind of response from certain people in this space, but Pearl is not the most important part of this debate. What we got in this debate is that a modern feminist leftist woman had to defend marriage in 2026. And this is the way she chose to do it.
What do men get out of marriage?
That's sad. It's sad that people think that. It really is. You get a partner, you get a teammate, you get to build a life together, and it's beautiful. I feel like misery loves company in this situation. And how would you know what you get out of marriage if you haven't experienced marriage in the first place? I'm not saying that as a personal attack. I really hope that Pearl meets the love of her life and gets married. It's not about that. But you trash it without really understanding what the benefits are.
I'm not going to say that Pearl is a 160 IQ person, but she did something very brilliant in that she just didn't say anything, and she allowed Anna to essentially list 2 or 3 things. You get a partner, you get someone to live your life with, is beautiful, but she couldn't list any tangibles in this modern dating environment. And then she went straight to name calling and essentially badgering. which is essentially saying that she doesn't have an argument for it. It's just, you're supposed to want it because I said so, or I feel a certain way. And it's probably the most damning assessment of modern marriage for Western men. She could not list a list of things that a man is going to get marrying a modern liberal leftist woman in this modern environment. And so it's the argument itself that falls flat.
Why do we have phrases like it's cheaper to keep her?
Pearl,
Answer the question.
divorce is expensive. And by the way, on purpose, to discourage people from getting divorced in the first place.
Why do we have phrases like happy wife, happy life?
Because it's true. Same with happy husband, happy life.
I have to say that there are some points in the debate where if Pearl were maybe a bit more schooled in being a litigator or something like that, she could have probably just mopped the floor with Anna, but she missed a couple of opportunities, one. But on the other side, it was just Anna being very emotional and just essentially saying, how dare men not want marriage? There's so much good from it, but she couldn't list it. And so there's one actual good point where Pearl basically put it on the floor and say, listen, this is basically where we are right now. What is your reply to it?
What's your plan when men start walking away from marriage? What's your plan?
So, do men or women get a raw deal from marriage? Because you just
What
said
is
men
your
walking
plan?
away
What
from
is
marriage.
your
So,
plan?
is he culpable for doing that?
What is your plan when men walk away from marriage?
Is he responsible for walking away
You're
from a
changing
marriage?
the topic.
When was the last time you felt loved, truly loved, without judgment, without expectations?
You know, last time I seen my mum. That's it, man.
So what's your plan when men start walking away from society?
What do you mean by walking away from society?
When men stop doing the dangerous jobs, when men stop getting married, when men stop having kids.
To be quite
What
honest
is
with
your
you,
plan?
if American men decide they no longer want to do those jobs, very likely our government will import men from countries where they're willing to do those jobs. That's probably how
And
it's
what's
going to
your
work
plan
out.
when they date American women and then decide to stop too?
I'm not worried about that.
I don't think that Anna realized how profound the statement she made about modern marriage, particularly with young ladies who have been raised on feminism and have been freer and have lived lives that are much more open and generous physically with other men than have ever really been recorded, at least in our modern history. She can only say that you get a partner, you get someone to live your life with, it's going to be beautiful. She can't list any concrete benefits that men are going to get entering this union, when most men understand that a lot of young ladies are available without marriage already. So why is there a need to go to the courthouse and make any of this legal? And so her argument is essentially, if men don't want marriage, then men are defective. Men need to do better. That's the tone that you get from her stance in this interview. But men understand, if you do things the right way, quote unquote, in this modern environment, you know what's waiting for you at the end of it.
I have a very important question that we should all ask ourselves. That question is, why should a man want a woman in 2026? Why should a man that is single, that is already living his life, possibly disrupt his life by taking on a woman? The reason I ask this question is because I think that a lot of us women have a very outdated mindset. Women are not what they used to be. The image of a woman has been tainted by ourselves. We have totally destroyed our image. Anything positive that used to come to mind when you thought of a woman we have dismantled.
This is the part of the debate that Anna danced around, and I believe it was on purpose. She didn't talk about how young ladies are with many more men than have been the case before, that many of these young ladies have had visits to Planned Parenthood and have had things removed from their bodies, or humans, if you will. They've been with a lot of different guys. They have a lot of different emotional heartache. You can go down the list. And to say that you should be dealing with this woman the same way that you would have dealt with a woman, say, 60, 70 years ago, is wishful thinking at best. But now there's a growing number of young women starting to come out and say, listen, we have to change this conversation because guys are hip to this. Guys are not playing this game anymore. And it really only takes one hard lesson learned for guys to get it sunk in to a point where they'll never forget it. And it's happening to more and more men as we speak.
A man's heartbreak, you can't even fathom the heartbreak of a man when he loves a woman and she breaks his heart. Because we can't turn our love on and off like a woman. Most men never recover. They don't recover. But women do. Woman, she don't love like that. Her love is different. She loves like water. It evaporates over time.
I think the open secret that men have come around to understanding is that if a woman married to you is not duty bound in a way that transcends just her feelings or what she's being told in many feminist classes, then the moment that she's unhappy, her love is going to evaporate. She's going to walk away. She's going to point at you and say, you ruined my life and you need to fund me walking away. And I'm going to go be with other men and it's all your fault. And if that is the other end of this love thing that Anna is trying to justify without having any concrete benefits for men in this modern environment, then it's obvious what's going to happen. Men are going to do what Pearl was suggesting in the debate. If your argument for marriage is that you're telling men that women who have had more partners than ever before, maybe have had more deletions than ever before, are going to come to you and it's your responsibility to deal with not just her as she is, but even some of the past traumas emotionally that she's dealing with. And if you can't deal with that, she has every right to walk away and financially punish you and keep your kids away from you. It's pretty obvious that more men are going to say, listen, I'm not going to have the opportunity to marry the kind of woman that my grandfather did. And so maybe there was risk for my grandfather, but there was a structure and a social system that said, hey, there's some shame in us breaking up this family. Let's try and make it work. But falling in love with a young lady who's had her heart broken many times and have had a lot of emotional trauma before you even meet her, and essentially what they're bringing to the table is you have an emotionally supportive partner for a period of time that you can't predetermine, and she thinks it's your job to make her happy in life and fund her fantasies and even elevate her life financially. I don't think most men would have a problem doing that if there were some assurances up front that she's not going to leave and jump on the next boat smoking. And men don't have those assurances anymore. And that's why the question that Pearl asks is a very simple yet prudent one. What happens when men walk away? Because we're starting to see it in plain sight, and even the most ardent of feminists have no answer for it at all. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you next video. Take care, guys.